So I recently got my photography published in the Tamron monthly newsletter, where they covered my content in sports photography in the youth and amateur sports. Now I'm a content creator. I'm also a freelance videographer and photographer here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And today I wanted to make a video about the best, I would say mid-tier setup for sports photography and videography. So an all-in-one kit, one body, one lens. So the sports that I typically cover are going to be basketball, I cover football, cross country, track, sometimes soccer, etc. But this kit is going to be the best mid-tier, which means you can go up or you can go down. For those of you that are looking to get into it and want to have a kit that's going to last a while, or those of you that already have like a basic kit and you're wondering what you should upgrade to. And so I'll talk to you about why I like this kit and why I think it's a good purchase for you. So this is my kit, and this very small kit is all I take, and we'll get to it why. But for the outside, I have the Nomadic Peter McKinnon 8-liter sling bag, and this sling bag allows me to basically carry everything comfortably across my back using the strap for long periods of time without it being too bulky, too crazy to cover, to carry, etc. And that way I never have to leave my bag, because depending on the environment you're in, the school you're in, the venue you're in, you may have an area that's designated for you as media where you can leave your stuff. And most times, specifically if you're doing like amateur sports or basketball and stuff like that, you won't. And so something like this is super lightweight, so I can keep it and it carries everything that I need. Again, this is the Peter McKinnon 8-liter bag, and as you can see in here, I have 2 batteries extra, I have cables and everything in here, I have my filters in these 2 front pouches right here, and then I have the my camera and strap in there, etc. in here. Now, what I typically carry, if I am going to be doing a highlight reel or something like that, I don't always carry like a shotgun microphone. I may carry this. Recently is kind of what I've been carrying recently, which this is the Small Rig S70 microphone kit, and I did a whole review on this, and so that'll be on the channel if you want to check that out. But this is super small. You can put this on your talent, so if you're following a particular player, they can wear this on their uniform and not worry about it being lost or anything like that, because you can hide it within the multiple layers that they're wearing, especially if they're wearing like Under Armour or something like that. But I always carry this, and then if I do need to capture like groups or something like that, I'll carry my Comica VM40 shotgun microphone, which is a 32-bit float shotgun microphone that can go on the camera, or I can set it up somewhere wirelessly using the receiver. This little tool here, I don't always carry. This is a Small Rig in Tamron. I actually got this at NAB. It's just a small multi-tool, and this allows you to, if you have to mess with your cage or anything like that. So I keep that in the bag as well. Another thing that I always carry on me is this Falcam F38 quick release and a Falcam quick release shoulder strap. And this allows me to let my camera hang so that when I'm not using it, it's hanging comfortably and I'm not having to hold it in hand. And you can adjust this very fast, etc. And so that's what's really nice about this strap. You can adjust it really fast, and you can let it hang. And so again, if you're sitting for long periods of time, say for instance you're only recording one person and they're not playing, then you can put your camera down and strap it until they get ready to come back into the game. So this strap I always use, no matter what type of like if I'm gonna have my camera with me, I take this with me. Even if I'm not doing sports, I keep that with me. Now the workhorse, we're getting to it really quickly. The workhorse for this is my FX30 and my Tamron 35 to 150. This kit right here, I think is almost the best setup that you can have. And the reason for that is 2 things. The lens, let's talk about the lens first. The Tamron 35 to 150 on a full frame camera, specifically the Sony bodies, because you have the Super 35 mode. You have a range of 35 to 150. And then if you're on an APS-C body or Super 35 mode like this FX30, then you basically have 50 to 225 from a range standpoint. That allows you to get pretty much indoor environment, that's anywhere you need to be. So underneath the basket, sidelines, out in the stands, from the sideline to the stands, coach's box, directly underneath the basket, center of the court, etc., top down. You can get pretty much everywhere you need in the arena with this lens. And then with it being an f2.0, it's perfect for low light environments. And so that means, because you can't control lighting, you never know what the venue is going to look like when you show up. Specifically, if it's one of those events where they have to have low lighting for atmosphere and stuff like that, f2.0 plus a Sony body with dual ISO allows you to pretty much see in the dark. So this is a really good lens. And of course, that's f2.0 to a certain extent. And then as you extend it out, it goes to 2.8. But that's still, again, really good from a low light standpoint. Now, the body here, which is the Sony FX30. This is a very underrated camera because it is a cinema body with photo capability. And that's why this body is perfect, because it has a 33 megapixel sensor that allows you to take really good photos. And then it has cinema level video so that you can get all the video you need from a sporting standpoint. 4K 30, 4K 60, and 4K 120, which is really big when you're doing highlights and you need to really slow it down to accentuate like a sweep move or something like that, or just, getting the crowd in slow motion, getting reactions and stuff like that. And it's just a powerhouse. And not only that, it has a built-in fan, so even on long shooting days, and then of course, when you're outside for cross country or track, when it's very hot, you don't have to worry about the body overheating and it shutting down or anything like that. So the biggest reasons that I think that this camera is great for this is because the fan, the frame rates, 4K 30, 4K 60, 4K 120, and then battery life is really good on this. I tend to take 3 batteries with me, or a V-mount battery. We'll get to that in a second, and I never have to worry about anything else. From a all-day shooting standpoint, that and 2 extra batteries, meaning the battery in the body and 2 extra batteries, gives me everything that I need. This has the big 6 menu. It has, all the functions and things that you need in order to make sure you're in focus, to make sure that your, exposure is correct. You have everything you need. And so I think that this is the perfect setup for being a videographer or photographer when it comes to sports, because you can manage both. You can do video and you can do photography. Now, if I was to say that I needed to go more affordable, then for the lens, Tamron has a 25 to 200 that I recently did a video review on that I think is amazing. It's 25 to 200, but it goes all the way up to 6.3 from a aperture standpoint. It's a variable aperture lens. Or 5.6, but there's ways to get around 5.6 aperture, but there's ways to get around that, and I talk about that in that video review. I'll put that at the end if you want to watch it. But that gives you even more range to this. It's just a variable aperture lens. And then you pair it with the fact that it's a full frame lens, and then you have a lot of reach on that. It's a 25 to 200, so roughly it's a 35-ish to 300 on an APS-C body like this. But if you really can afford it, then you can go with the 50 to 150, which is going to give you a 75 to 225. But again, that still may be too tight on the wide end at the baseline or underneath the basket. And so that is why I keep coming back to this lens as the perfect lens, that even if you go up, there's not really a better one, but if you go down, you can go with the 25 to 200, and that's a good lens, because you will get about the same on an APS-C. You actually get more reach at the wide end on an APS-C body than you do on this one. As far as the body itself, you can go up to, I would say, from a value standpoint, the Sony a7 IV. I think that's the best thing smoking right now for a body, because you're getting the 4K 30, 60, and 120, and you're getting, really nice photography. It's, their best hybrid camera under $3,000 right now. Of course, they just released the Sony a7 R6, which is probably their best hybrid camera right now, aside from the flagship, right, A1. 812. Then if you wanted to go down in like the body, then you could go the Sony a6700 because it has the same sensor as this FX30. And it also has the updated AI processing for autofocus. So you might actually get a little better autofocus than that, although the FX30 is rock solid. No issues whatsoever with that. There's a black, what do they call it? A black sheep or dark horse. Tamron just released a 35 to 100 and it's $899, so it's half the price of this, and it's a constant 2.8. And so that's a bonus lens that I wanted to talk about at the end, because you don't get the long range, but because it's APS-C, you still end up getting 150 on this body. So you would still get 50 to 150 on that body, whereas on this one you get 50 to 225. So I think, you know, depending on your pockets, you know, you can save money there as well and start with the FX30 or even the A6700 and then the 35 to 100. So there's a lot of variations there. So all in all, I mean, you're right around $3,000, $3,100 for this full kit. And I think this is all you need to complete work all the way up to a professional level and get paid. I've done a lot of paid work with this just bare minimum kit right here, and because it's the FX30, a part of the cinema line, when you show up it looks like a professional grade camera, because it is a professional grade camera, and people are like, ooh, that's a sweet camera, right? And it gets you more work just when people see you sitting there shooting with it, and other videographers walking up to you like, oh, is that the FX3 type scenario, etc. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's content, consider subscribing, hitting that cozy coalition below. We're a new channel, but we're growing really fast, so I'd love for you to be a part of the Cozy Coalition. But as always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.